So earlier in the week, when I first sat down to film this unboxing, I had these 3 boxes and I said, you know what, let's put a hold on this because I am expecting a very exciting pre-order to arrive. And then what actually arrived was all of these. So buckle up because we have a bit of a big unboxing for March. So as usual, to start us off, I would do a quick run through of everything that we have here, although I'll be honest, a couple of these I'm not entirely sure what's inside them. But the things that I started off with were, of course, my rep packages from the wonderful Fairyloot. So thank you so much to Fairyloot for sending these my way to open for you guys in this video. If you guys don't know who Fairyloot are, they are a UK-based Bookish subscription. They have 3 monthly subscriptions, which comprises of their young adult box. This one you can get with or without items. I have the box with items here, so it is a brand new young adult fantasy release in an exclusive hardback with a collection of bookish goodies. They then also have their adult and romantasy subscription, which you can combine into a combo box, and that is a brand new adult hardback release and a brand new romantasy release respectively, once again in a stunning exclusive edition. And then they also have a couple of quarterly subscriptions, one of which is their Epic fantasy sub, which is the most exciting for me right now, being an epic fantasy lover, and I've also heard really good things about this book, so I'm excited to see the Fairyloot edition. So on top of my Fairyloots, I do also have my monthly rep box from Lunar Bookish Flames Candles. They are a UK-based soy wax bookish candle company. This is a selection of 2 of their most recent collections. I think that there are some Zodiac Academy candles in here and also some Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is exciting. So if you guys would like to place an order with Lunar Bookish Flames Candles after watching this video, I do have a discount code for you guys. My code is Becca15 and that will get you a discount on your entire order, not just things in this collection. And thank you so much to Manos, as always, for sending this my way. I then have the pre-order that I was waiting for, which is one of my most anticipated releases of the year. This is the Waterstones edition, and I didn't think about it. Maybe it's just because it's in a box, but this looks smaller than I thought it would be, so I'm intrigued to figure that out. And then I have these, which are all from the publisher. I don't know which publisher though, is the thing. I do know that this one, because I did open the exterior box, is from Penguin Michael Joseph. I think one of the other ones is also from Penguin Michael Joseph. I'm not sure about the third though. I am expecting a couple of things, but I don't know what exactly this is. I'm excited to dive into it together though. So I guess we'll start off with the Fairyloots, and I'm going to crack open the young adult first. I remember what the Epic fantasy box is for this quarter, but I actually can't remember what the March subs are, and I feel like I have been spoiled because I'm a little bit late with my unboxing, but I actually can't remember what any of the editions are. So the theme for March, oh, that's pretty. I'm excited. The theme for March's young adult Fairyloot box is Dangerous Devotion, and if you guys would like to see the spoilers, you can pause and you can read them here. I, however, as always, will be going in blind, and the first thing we have, oh my god, it's a Night and the Moth. I want to say Kindle sleeve. It could, yeah, it is a Night and the Moth e-reader sleeve. I feel like you could also get away maybe with putting a paperback in this. And as we know, or if you don't know, then The Night and the Moth is my favorite book of 2025. I'm pretty sure it did come up in the top slot, and I am a sucker for Sybil and Rory. I love this art, the fact that it has a stained glass style as well, not only really nice aesthetically but actually has relevance to the story, and I also love the cover. I do have my Kindle, I don't know where it is, but it's in like a flippy case. I do like sometimes to put it in something a little bit more protective though. I do have a different e-reader sleeve, just if I'm going to be carrying it around in my bag, because the other case I don't like to get too dented because that's the one that I like hold all the time, if that makes any sense at all. But I do really love this item. We also have some Caraval foiled bookmarks. I need to continue with the Caraval series. I read book 1 last year and I did enjoy it, but I have yet to buy the rest of the books. These are very, very pretty. I love the art style that we have here, and I was about to say I can't name all of the characters, but I don't have to because their names are on the bottom. I do like as well that we have a kind of carnival theme for the Fairyloot backer on these. Oh, Julian, cute. Oh, next up we have an embroidery kit. I love craft kits in anything really, but subscription box always nice. I do low-key wish we'd have a cross stitch kit at some point though, because in terms of the two mediums, which have some overlap, I am definitely more of a cross stitch girly than I am a embroidery girly, because I like the predictability and the mathematical layout of cross stitch, whereas embroidery can be a little bit too free for my liking, even though you have a pattern. But you do get everything you need in these kits. You get a hoop, there's also instructions, this is the pattern that we're working with, which is very nice, as well as the fabric. You have all of your threads, needles, and also of course a guide to completing it. I was gonna say I have done one of the Fairyloot embroidery kits. I was making a reel on kind of like learning to embroider using the Fairyloot kit, and I have the smallest amount to finish, and I could just go back and do it in 10 minutes and I haven't, so I need to go back and do that at some point. But I do like to have these kind of as a little bit of a refresher in between bigger craft projects, because when I do cross stitch I tend to go really big, so they're nice to have. Ooh. Ooh, this is an Immortal Consequences monthly memo pad. The packaging on it has gotten a bit beaten up, but the pad itself is absolutely fine. I love me stationery. Oh, this is really cool actually. This is a desk planner. I have a weekly one of these that I use. I also have one for meal planning, and a monthly one could actually be quite helpful, because in terms of social media I have so many platforms right now that I'm trying to be somewhat consistent on, that it could be good to have a separate planner outside of my regular planner, just to write down like what content should be going where on what day. So I do feel like this could actually come in handy. And then just before we get to the book of the month and the overlays, we do have the monthly Fairyloot tarot cards. I believe that the cards for this month also feature characters from the book of the month, so I don't know who they are, but they are the Sun and the Moon card. The overlays are of course also for this month's book, and oh, it's romantic. I mean, most Fairyloot books are romantic, if I'm being honest. Oh, I really like the art style on these actually. That's pretty. And then the book of the month, you probably already guessed what it is by now. I don't think I know anything about this one, so I'm intrigued to see what Fairyloot have done with the edition. But of course, as always in here, we also have the monthly bookmark. But the Fairyloot Young Adult book for March has stunning sprayed edges, and it is Her Hidden Fire by Cleena O'Sullivan. This edition is very obviously a completely redesigned one, and sometimes I enjoy characters on the cover, sometimes I don't love it. This is not my favorite in that regard, but I do really love the color palette of this one, and it is 100% an improvement on the original, which is very bland. I'll overlay it so that you guys can see the difference. My favorite thing about this though, I think, has to be these sprayed edges. They're very intricate, and the printing on these is so clean as well. We also have a signature page from the author, as well as always, the author's note has been bound into the book. We do of course have custom end papers. We quite clearly have dragons in this, which is exciting, and the end papers are different on each side. Under the dust jacket, we have a printed unfoiled design. I do love me a landscape print on a naked hardcover, so that is very nice. And underneath the dust jacket, we do have the original cover in a different colorway, which I believe the original is like gold or yellow, and this one is of course green. So very nice edition. I love the color palette, but I have no idea what this book is about. I'm assuming that it has some kind of like Irish lore as well as dragons. So let's find out together. Welcome to Domain, a world where dragons soar the skies and elite families wield magical powers. The ruling family of Ameskeep is on a knife edge. Heir apparent Ionian must show that he can channel magic or they will be cast out and replaced. Then Aya, a servant girl who loves Ionian, discovers that she can draw power herself. This puts her in grave danger. It's extremely rare for a girl to have this talent, especially outside of great families. At Ionian's moment of truth, Aya makes a desperate gamble, a trick, to save him, Ameskeep, and herself. But how long can this ruse last? Sent to the very heart of the Master's control, Aya and Ionian enter a whirlwind of patriarchy, class, heartache, and jealousy. Here they learn about power's terrible human cost, a price others willingly pay to maintain theirs. How far would you go to empower the one that you love? I am intrigued about the atmosphere of this and the setting, as well as the dragons, I think. I just realized there's a pronunciation guide at the beginning. So I said Domain. It's Dowen, not Domain. The keep is not called Ameskeep, it's called Alimskeep. And Aya, I got that one right. But, oh, Ionian, that's not how you pronounce that, it's Yonawin. So, oops. I thought I was doing okay, but I was not. But just so you guys know, there is a pronunciation guide right at the beginning. I'm really glad that that's included actually, and that it's at the beginning and not at the back. I feel like that's going to be really helpful. Would be even more helpful if I'd have seen it. So down in my comments, let me know what your favorite item from this month's Fairyloot box is. I actually really like this box. I think it has a good selection of items. I'm actually really happy with all of the items that were included. I think my favorite may be the e-reader sleeve, just because it does have art from like my favorite book of the year on it. Where am I going to put these today? Can I put them here? That's not bad. So moving on to the Epic box. I am so excited to read this one. It has been pitched to me before as Game of Thrones with samurai. So I am very excited. Oops, don't lie on my books, thank you. So I'm very excited. I hope that it has the level of politics and also intricacy within the plot as Game of Thrones. And then the setting and the samurai thing just really intrigues me. So the theme for the last quarter was Blades of Dynasty, and the book has a vastly different color palette and cover than the original, I think, and that is of course the Book of Fallen Leaves by A.S. Tamaki. This is gorgeous. The autumnal like sunset vibe color palette. The art on here, completely redesigned cover, so I will overlay the original so you can check it out. Once again, the stunning color palette does transfer over to the edges, which are gorgeous. We have custom end pages, still going with this autumnal theme. Ooh, oh, I thought we didn't have anything under the dust jacket. We do, don't worry guys. The end papers are of course different on each side. Under the jacket, oh, I love this. This is stunning. That artwork is gorgeous. Under the dust jacket, we do have the original cover in a slightly different colorway. I think the original's red, right? And this one is obviously orange. So aside from the Game of Thrones samurai comparison, I actually don't know anything about this. So we are going to be reading the synopsis together, and I actually really hope that I can get to this book sometime soon. But it says, enter a world of gods and monsters, of scheming nobles and honor-bound samurai clans. I'm already getting the Game of Thrones comparison. A world on the brink of war. Sen Hoshiakari is an exiled prince of a clan that lost everything in his father's failed rebellion. Deprived of his birthright, Sen longs to restore his family's lands. Rui is a peasant girl who saved Sen's life on the night his family were put to the sword. She is adrift and unsure of her place in the world, not knowing that the gods themselves have plans for her. As civil war throws the empire into chaos, the gods and demons stalk the land. Sen and Rui must fight for both their own future and that of their families. Oh, this is multi-perspective as well. Okay, sign me up. Definitely still very excited to read this one, and I am hoping that I can pick this one up sometime soon. So the last of the Fairyloots is of course the March Romantasy and Adult combo box. First up, I think this one is the Romantasy. Let me just check. Oh, this one is the Adult fantasy, and the theme for March was As the Stars Foretold. And the book for this month is The Last Starborn Seer by Venetia Constantine. I love this cover actually. I love the kind of, I guess, difference in texture between the character and this staff, I think, and how this like really pops with the colour. I do think this is an instance where a character on the cover does really work for me. I like the layout of this one. Also, once again, really love the colour palette on this. I think that this has the same kind of colour palette as the original, but different cover, so I'll overlay the original so you can check it out. We have very pretty edges on this. I actually don't know what my favourite Fairyloot edition is going to be this month. The cover art is complemented very nicely by the custom end papers, which, oh, hello. Different vibes on this one. I appreciate it though. Under the dust cover, we have a printed and foiled hardcover. This one is a like textured hardcover, which I really like. I don't know why I don't like the smooth ones as much. I don't think it really matters, but I just like it when they're the rougher ones. I think that the way that the ink sinks into them as well, like they're more matte and not shiny, so maybe that has something to do with it. And then under the dust jacket, we do have the original cover in a slightly different colorway. I think it's very similar, but I am assuming that it is a little bit different. So this one I have seen around a little bit, but I don't know very much about it. As with all of these books, I'm going to be reading you guys the synopsis. This one says, Lilani Stellarian is cursed. The last of a ruined bloodline, she's shunned for her volatile starborn magic, which grants her prophetic visions but is slowly corrupting her mind. Branded a pariah, Lilani is blamed for the sickening, a wasting curse that fractured the realms of Arkelia and plunged them into war. When her dying mother's health deteriorates and a forced marriage threatens her future, Lilani seizes the chance to reclaim her fate. A prophecy speaks of an ancient relic that could end the sickening, and she's determined to find it. To retrieve the scepter, she must survive the deadly climb to the Astral Mountain, forge alliances with enemies, outwit rebel forces, and navigate her own treacherous feelings for a rival envoy, which grow under the watchful eye of her betrothed. Hunted by a vengeful spectre and haunted by her magic, Lilani must decide what she's willing to sacrifice in the name of redemption before her powers consume her. I really like the fact that we have the prophetic visions and the way that that is corrupting the main character's mind in here. Aside from that, that does feel very much in line with similar fantasy stories, so I would be interested to see what kind of thing sets this one apart. Definitely very interested in giving this one a try. And another stunning Fairyloot edition. And of course, the last of the Fairyloots is the Romantasy book for the month. I like that we have very cohesive colour palettes on all of the Fairyloot books this month, but they're all quite different. These look similar because of the spines, but we know that the Book of Fallen Leaves has more of an autumnal orangey tone to it, as well as the purple. And this one looks to be a pastel-y pink and blue. So the theme for the Romantasy box was Part of Your World. This one is giving sea vibes, I think. And it is The Wicked Sea by Jordan Stephanie Gray. I actually have no idea what the original cover of this looks like, so I'm gonna check it out. This does look like a completely custom cover though anyway. Oh yeah, very, very different vibes. I love the color palette on this. I'm 50-50 about the character on the cover of this one. Don't love it, don't hate it, but once again, very much love the color palette. Very nice sprayed edges as always. I do really like the spine on this one. It reminds me of the spine of both Heir of Storms and Heavenly Bodies. And we also have, of course, custom end papers that are different on each side. I actually hope this isn't a Little Mermaid retelling because the theme was Part of Your World, and it does very clearly have a, well, this is a pink-haired mermaid, to be honest, on the cover. I love the naked hardcover on this. Pink is not my favorite color, so this one is not my favorite of the color schemes that we've had, but we know that I like an architectural printed hardcover. And then underneath we of course have the original cover in a slightly different colorway. With all of that in mind, it's time to read the synopsis and find out if this is a Little Mermaid retelling. I'll be honest, I don't love mermaid books and seafaring books. I like seafaring books like The Live Ship Traders by Robin Hobb, but I don't think I've ever read a like mermaid romance story that's ever really worked for me. But the synopsis on this one says, in this dark and sultry enemy to lovers romantasy, a mermaid battles hatred and lust for the wretched warlock who saved her life. So definitely not a Little Mermaid retelling, which is great. On the run from a dangerous capture and years of abuse, mermaid Zephyra of the Sill has shed her tail, grown legs, and hidden herself on land in the merrow-loathing kingdom of Morsha, left to steal and barter on the dirty streets. But her freedom is short-lived when she's caught and sentenced to death by the brutal warlock Arian Stone. Arian is as beautiful as he is cold and deadly, only interested in punishing the merrow he views as evil. He has grown as strong as any warlock might, but at great personal cost, which can only be remedied by the heart of the god of death, lost to a fabled kingdom beneath the ocean's treacherous depths. So Arian offers Zephyra a deal she can't refuse: help him find the mystical heart and he'll spare her life. With no other options, Zephyra agrees, entangling their souls and forbidden desires in a magical bargain until death do they part. But their enemies are circling, and if Zephyra and Arian can't learn to fight together and trust each other, there are worse things awaiting them than just death. I do think it's really interesting that the beginning of the synopsis says it's a dark and sultry enemies to lovers romantasy, but the cover is very much given like pastel mermaid princess, which is fine. I just thought it was a little bit amusing. So this one I'm not sure about. I will, as I always do, give it a try. Historically, mermaid romances don't work for me, but I do really like the edition. At least it's stunning, as are most of the books from Fairyloot. So next up, I think we will tackle the candles, because everything after that is just, I'm pretty sure, a single book deal. So we should be able to whip through those pretty quickly. But as I said, this month we have candles from the Zodiac Academy collection, as well as some from the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Now, we all know I'm not a Zodiac Academy fan. I can still appreciate a nice smelling candle though. Don't have an issue with that. So I'm excited to see what Manos has put in here for me. I do also know that the Sarah J Maas licenses, I think I mentioned it to you guys last month, that for the majority of small businesses that were licensed to sell Sarah J Maas products, their licenses are coming to an end very soon. So the last time that you will be able to purchase anything from Lunar Bookish Flames Candles Sarah J Maas range will be at the end of April, and until then you can use the code SJM30 to get 30% all of the Sarah J Maas candles if you want to take advantage of that. So getting into this month's wonderful rep package, can you believe that Kami's sleeping through all of this paper rustling? I mean, we did take her for a big walk, but still, like, this is a big temptation for a mouthy pup. So this one is Sir Lionel Baratheon. It's one of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms candles. I have read the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but I haven't watched it yet. So I really need to get on that. I'm just deep in reality TV and K-dramas right now. Oh, this one smells quite masculine. It has a really strong like aftershave kind of scent. The scent on this one is cardamom, fig, black tea, iris, vetiver, sandalwood, and tonka. And it's quite a rich one. I really like that. We also have another wax melt here, which I don't even remember if I just said to you guys that this is a wax melt, but that's what it is. I've been away for like 2 weeks. This is the first sit down video that I'm filming. Actually, I feel really out of practice. The other wax melt is Zodiac Academy, representing the Vega twins, and the scent on this one is rose apple, jasmine, sambac, patchouli, amber, and vanilla. Quite a nice rich blue color on the wax. This is a strong floral. Oh, it has a little bit of sweetness under. I'm guessing that's coming from the apple. The first thing that hits you immediately is the rose, but it does have a little bit more depth in there as well, which is nice. We then have some of the larger candle tins from Lunar Bookish Flames Candles. The first one is Zodiac Academy. It's Lance Orion, which I'm pretty sure from when I read the first two Zodiac Academy books, the only characters I cared about, or character I really cared about, especially in terms of love interests, was Orion. This one's a very nice masculine scent again. Love the purple glitter on this, and the scent is cinnamon, cedarwood, sandalwood, and amber. Very simple, but very nice. We also have one of their smaller candle tins, which is Zodiac Academy again. I don't think there's any shirtless winged men in the Night of the Seven Kingdoms anyway. And this one is Gabriel Knox. The scent on Mr. Gabriel is black cherry, very nice, saffron, apricot, olive, leather, osmanthus, apricot, smoke, woods, and amber. Ooh, that's like, it's smoky and it's fruity. I support it. Another one of the larger tins, which for size comparison, this is the bigger, this is the smaller, and this is kind of the difference in size that you get between them. All of Lunar Bookish Flames candles are woodwick as well, so they have a nice pleasing crackle when you light them, which I do have one lit up there, but I'm not sure that you guys can hear it. Next up, we have Seth Capella. I'm pretty sure that this is the guy from Zodiac Academy that I legitimately despise. And his scent is cassis, raspberry, cherry, fig, orris, coconut, sandalwood, and cedarwood. If I like this candle, I'm gonna be so mad. I do like this candle. It has a really like fresh, clean, very slightly masculine scent, but also a little bit fruity. And then we have 3 of their larger jar candles. The first one is Zodiac Academy again. This one is Elise Callisto. I'm just assuming that all of these characters that I know are not Night of the Seven Kingdoms are Zodiac Academy, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But the scent on this one is patchouli, amber, pomegranate, raspberry, plum, pink pepper, lily, and woods. Oh my god. Oh, I just tipped glitter all over myself. This one is pomegranate and pepper, which is one of my favorite scents. I love that. It's definitely a dupe of something, because I've had that fragrance oil before when I made candles, but I can't remember what the dupe is of. Hey, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. This one is my brother's mace, most like he's strong, which I'm assuming is a quote. The scent is blackberry, blackcurrant, rose, geranium, bay, musk, and sandalwood. Oh, that is like so rich on the blackberry and raspberry. Oh, I love that. I don't know what my absolute favorite is though at this point. Finally, our last candle is the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and it is our main characters Dunk and Egg. The scent on this is very simple: lime, lemon, vanilla, and sweet pie. So I feel like I can anticipate how this is going to smell. Oh, it's not as sharp as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be giving lemon meringue. More lime than lemon in there. And it has a really nice sweetness. I love this one. So which one is my favorite though? Oh, I actually really like that one. Pomegranate and black pepper is always a favorite of mine in general. I really like all 3 of these. I love Gabriel Knox. I love Sir Lionel Baratheon. And I think though that my favorite is going to be Dunk and Egg. There's something a little bit special about this fragrance that I can't put my finger on. I think it's because it does smell quite like a sweet lime zest, which when I'm zesting limes, I adore that smell. So yeah, thank you so much to Manus, as always, for sending me such a wonderful box of your candles. And if you guys would like to get your hands on any of these, you can use my code, which is Becca15, to get a 15% off your entire order. Or alternatively, if you want to shop the Sarah J Maas collection, you can use SJM30 to get a 30% discount on those. It is time for my pre-order. I'm so excited to read this book. I'm really bad now at actually reading my anticipated releases or preparing, like rereading in time. I don't intend to reread the first book in this series, but actually preparing myself to read my anticipated releases, and I kind of just want to drop everything to read this one. I'm currently filming an episode of Shelby Scrap It. I have only just started though, and because of that, I don't think it's going to be ready for the time when I want to post it. So I was thinking about maybe dropping everything to do a little brand new release vlog. But the book that I'm so excited about is Rites of the Starling by Devney Perry. Because I love the first book so much, I did pre-order the Waterstones edition this time, so I don't have to hunt it down on Vinted later. And this, of course, is the sequel to Shield of Sparrows, which I can't remember how high up it was on my best books of the year list, but it was definitely one that featured on my best books of 2025 and also in the best romantasy that I read last year. Last year was actually a really good year for romantasy for me, and I was surprised about this one especially because the author is known for writing like small town romance and romantic suspense. This is her first romantasy series, but this one is following a woman who has been selected to fulfill a peace treaty between the kingdoms of the world. So every generation or so, a princess is betrothed to a prince of a different kingdom to strengthen the allegiance between the kingdoms so that the humans of the world can prioritize the threat that is posed to them by these enormous eagle-like monsters that fly over every generation and decimate the land as they're passing through. It's like a great migration. So our main character's sister is actually supposed to be the person who fulfills this treaty, but when a delegation from the country of her sister's betrothed come to her city, they choose her to fulfill the bride price instead. So she has actually not been prepared for this at all because it's not a role that she was expected to fulfill. So her father then has to let her know that he's been training her sister to gather information on this country and feed him information of how he can access the capital so that he can infiltrate it for what he sees is the good of the nation. However, when our main character travels to what she's been told is an enemy kingdom, she finds that everything is not necessarily as she expected, and there's an even bigger spanner thrown in the works when she starts to become more romantically interested in the elite monster hunter of this kingdom instead of her husband, the prince. So I loved book one. I'm so excited to dive into book two. I am a little bit nervous because I feel like sequels have been really underwhelming for me recently. So I'm hoping that this can deliver what I expect based on what I loved about book one, and maybe I'll find out very soon. It is actually quite a thick book. It's not as thin as I maybe thought it was because of the box, and it is like 560-ish pages, which I think is just slightly shorter than book one, maybe like by 20 to 40 pages, nothing significant. Okay, so for the PR packages from the publishers, we will start with the one that I know is 100% from Penguin Michael Joseph, because I did take a little peek inside because I wasn't expecting anything and I just couldn't wait. So thank you so much to Penguin Michael Joseph for sending me a proof copy of The Mistral. This is a brand new epic fantasy. I'm assuming the first book in an epic fantasy series, coming from Penguin Michael Joseph in, I think, May is the release date, and it has been comped to Brandon Sanderson, which is, you know, that's a lofty claim, so I'm trying not to get my expectations too high, but I am very, very excited to figure out whether I feel like this is going to meet those expectations. So this is The Mistral by Felix Moss. The release date on this just says May 2026, so I'm not sure of the exact date, but that does mean that I will hopefully be reading this one very, very soon. I love the color palette on the cover of this as well, which as an ambassador for Penguin Michael Joseph, I did help them to pick, but I believe it has a little message in it as well. It does. It says, "Dear Becca, I've been waiting to share this book with the world. It's a pleasure to count you as one of the first. Thank you." I don't think that this one has a synopsis on it though, so I'm gonna have to hunt that down. Back of it does say, "A dying magic, a slaughtered queen, a world on the brink of war," and also on the box it says, "Save the Mistral, seize your destiny, save the realm." The Waterstones page says that this is released on the 28th of May, so we have a little bit of time, and the synopsis says, "The Mistral, a divine ancient wind, has long swept over the realm, bestowing magical abilities on those destined to shape the future. But the Mistral is dying. As it falters and fear of all-out war consumes the kingdom, a peace delegation sets out from the land of Tereus to the city of Lorella. At the delegation's heart is Swan, daughter of an assassinated queen, who holds a powerful and rare ability. She must seek answers both to her mother's murder and her own inability to master her powers before it's too late. Meanwhile, in Lorella's dueling pit, the Iron Circuit, Fen, a feared fighter, comes to the attention of one city ruler who sees in her an opportunity. As the peace pledge begins, Swan and Fen are thrown together by a dark conspiracy, one that could forever alter not just their fate, but that of the Mistral, and the fragile balance holding the realm together." It says on here, perfect for fans of Brandon Sanderson and John Gwynne, which is even more exciting, and I do really, really hope that this one lives up to my expectations, because I am always down to become obsessed with a new epic fantasy series. So thank you so much to Penguin Michael Joseph for sending this one my way. I am not sure whether the other two things I have are both from Penguin Michael Joseph or whether it's just one of them. So we'll try the one that was in the same size box. I was going to take these out of the brown packaging so that I just had the PR boxes, but I thought that it ruined the anticipation of the fact that I have no idea what's in these. This one is definitely Penguin Michael Joseph, and this is one of my most anticipated releases of 2025. I am so excited about this one. This is another one that I hope lives up to my expectations. My expectations aren't incredibly high for this one, so I feel like there's still room for it to really impress me and less room for it to really disappoint me. But this one is Verity Guild by Mike Holland. I think that this one is also a May release. Oh, it has a very buttery soft cover as well. The box of this one says a slow burn romantasy of deadly secrets, political games, and a murder mystery that could unravel their world. So the reason why I'm so excited about this one in particular is because I've read the first two books. I actually still really need to finish this trilogy. I've read the first two books in Mike Holland's 5 Broken Blades series, and I really enjoyed it. It's like a multi-perspective heist story. It wasn't the best, most unique, most complex thing that I'd ever read, but I thought it was very entertaining and compelling. And so when I found out that Mike Holland's next release was going to be a romantasy, one of my favorite genres, I of course was interested. So this one actually has a synopsis on the back, and I have the release date for this down in my spreadsheet. My watch thinks I've been walking because I'm just so excited to talk to you guys. So the release date on this one is very close to my birthday, actually. It is the 7th of May, and the synopsis says, "Secret built this republic, one truth could burn it down. High Priestess Keresi Vestal has spent her life hiding the truth, that she's the last surviving heir of the magical bloodline the Republic slaughtered. One wrong step could be fatal, but when a senator is brutally killed and a temple blade is found at the scene, all eyes turn to her." I think that this could fulfill a prompt for 2026's Our Fantasy Bingo card, so I'm going to investigate that. But to continue, Praetorian Torrin Morvain has made a career of dragging liars into the light, and Keresi is the one person he's vowed to ruin. But locked on a mountain with a murderer, scheming senators, and a prophecy of death, he's forced to work at her side. The closer he gets, the more dangerous the truth and their attraction becomes. With traitors closing in and a nation on the verge of shattering, Keresi and Torrin must risk everything to uncover the real killer, even if it means trusting their sworn enemy. I think that this will fit for that Our Fantasy Bingo prompt. I think it's one that I was a little bit stuck on. So that's actually really great news. Really excited about this one. Political intrigue, also potentially some Roman Empire influence in there because we have a Praetorian and a Romantasy debut from an author that I've previously enjoyed. I feel like I can get behind this one. The final box, I'm assuming, is either from Penguin Michael Joseph or Bloomsbury. If it is from neither of those, then I have no idea, and this is completely unexpected. It's from Penguin Michael Joseph, and it's the Rights of the Starling PR box. Oh my god, what is in here? Because this is way bigger than the book. Ow, was that necessary? Da, 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 da. It is the standard edition of Rights of the Starling with a very pretty bookmark in here. And this one is indeed the standard edition. Thank you so much, Penguin Michael Joseph. I have obviously pre-ordered the Waterstones edition. This works out really well for me though, because it means that I can read this copy without ruining the edges on my Waterstones edition. And actually I had the standard edition of this, which I gave to my nail tech, who I do pass off a lot of my, especially like my romantasy books that I've really enjoyed, I give to my nail tech. And so I can definitely pass this one along as well when I've read it. So thank you so much to Penguin Michael Joseph, as always, for thinking of me and supplying me with my most anticipated releases of the year. I mean, of these three, 2 of them were actually on my most anticipated releases of the year list, and this one has only entered my radar more recently, but I'm very, very excited about it because it is, of course, a new epic fantasy. Kami, hello. Has she just woke up? Has she just woke up? Is she just woken up, baby? Hello. Hello. I've got to give the baby some love because in my TBR video, some of you guys complained that I didn't love her enough. So I need to make up for that now. Are you gonna let me finish this video? I'm so nearly done. Apparently not. You want this? Come on, take it over there. She can't get out. She's like completely walled in by boxes. This way. There we go. Careful. So that does conclude today's unboxing video with a very impressive and exciting stack of books. I'm so sorry if you can hear her tearing up that paper in the background. It's the only thing I could do to draw this video to a close. Down in my comments, let me know what your guys' favorite edition of this stack is. I actually don't know. I do feel like the Fairyloot stack is very impressive in general. This month, I feel like they're all stellar. The pink one, we can kind of remove because it's pink and that's not my personal preference. So of the other three, I'm gonna have to pick, I think, based on which of the books I'm the most excited to read, because I do feel like in terms of how gorgeous the editions are, they are all pretty equal. So I'm gonna go with the Book of Fallen Leaves by A.S. Tamaki being my favorite edition of this month, and I do actually think that the naked hardcover on this is my favorite, and for some reason the naked hardcover of books is always my favorite customizable feature. I don't know why. Maybe because when I read it without the cover on, even though I do tend to put like a protective dust jacket over it. Let me know what your favorite edition is. Mine is the Book of Fallen Leaves. Once again, a big thank you to Fairyloot, Lunar, Bookish, Flames, Candles, and of course Penguin Michael Joseph for providing boxes that I opened for you guys in this video. And if you guys would like to check any of them out, I will have the websites for everyone linked down below, as well as links to their social media and any discount codes that I may have as well. But aside from that, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Patreon if you want to follow me on any of those. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you're go when nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.